first saw this, I thought, I cannot believe that just happened. But a second later, I thought, no, you know what? I can totally believe this happened because I used to do this job. This reporter is what is called a multimedia journalist. And that means you're a reporter who also does the photographer's job. Now, this particular reporter is doing a live shot that she set up by herself. So she sets the lights up by herself, she sets the camera up by herself, and then she goes on live television completely unable to pay attention to the surroundings where she is, and she gets hit by a car. Okay. Many people who are retweeting this because it's going viral right now on Twitter are missing the main point I'm going to make later about what this shows us about journalism as a whole right now. But thanks to XTV Newsy Bill Doris for sending me this. We do a weekly media analysis show for subscribers over on ROKFIN, Locals, and Patreon. So head over and check us out there. But I got to say, what we're about to see, I'm glad she's okay. First off, I'm really glad she's okay. And I think the fact that she's okay, I'm going to show you the video so you can see it for yourself. The fact she's okay, I think, has led people to sort of focus on the fact that she just, she got hit by a car and she just pulled it together and she didn't play victim. And look, that's what real resilience is. And I'm here to tell you, dude, this is insane. Okay. This is totally insane that this reporter is hit by a car on live television working for one of the richest, largest media ownership companies in the country. We're going to talk about that in a second, but let's first watch the video, shall we? Okay.
On 3's Tori Yorkie joins us now live in Dunbar. And Tori, they're not seeing any flakes, but wet roads. And now we're starting to experience, unfortunately, in freeze thaw, we see this, water main breaks.
Got hit by a car, but I'm okay. I just got hit by a car, but I'm okay, Tim.
That's the first for you on TV, Tori.
Woo! We're all good.
That's a first for you on TV, the anchor says. That's his reaction. Okay. I don't know. I would just think maybe your first reaction would be like, are you okay? Are you okay? I don't know. Does this happen often? In this market? This is owned by Gray Television. All right. So that was sort of the first interesting piece of this after the fact that she got hit by a car. Let's keep watching.
Are you okay? I'm okay. Yeah, that's live TV for you. It's all good. I actually got hit by a car in college too, just like that.
Wow.
This reporter is like just trying to write it off like, I just got hit by a car in college too, so I'm totally used to this. It's fine. Telling the person that drove the car, like, everything's fine. This has happened to me before. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's keep watching.
Wow.
I am so glad I'm okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're okay. We're all good. This is
Did you see that? That's her picking up the camera after she gets hit by a car. Okay, the reason that this is all still going is because there's not a photographer to turn off the camera or anything. And for whatever reason, is there somebody in the control room? I mean, why are we watching this? Is it a little bit odd to people that we're still watching this? Like they're still live watching this happen? Not even knowing that the person is definitely okay, right? Maybe she's in shock. Maybe she's not okay. I'm actually really surprised that they kept going with the live coverage. Maybe it's an automated control room and there was nobody to take another live shot. Maybe there was nothing else they were going to do. They didn't go back to the anchor. That's another sort of weird thing about this that I noticed. But she's like, it's okay. But pay attention to the fact that she's picking up her own camera. Okay, so she's all by herself again in the dark. And I just want to add this quickly too. When you're somebody who does all of this yourself, you're typically given a really small, cheap, crappy setup to do the job. Okay. You're handed like a tiny little camera and a tiny little light kit, and it's all worth together, I don't know, like $1,000 or something. It's cheap. They cycle through them fast. And, they'll tell you it's because they want to make sure that you can carry it because it's just you all by yourself. And I'm sure that plays into it. So it's a lightweight tripod. It's a lightweight camera. And you get your little light that you can set up really fast. And you send this person out with one crappy little light in an area that's already got issues with like construction crews and other lights and you expect that like something like this is not going to happen. This is so negligent on the part of Gray Television for this to be happening. But I'll tell you what, in a small market, it used to be that this is what you did and you would get out of the small market and then you would go work in a bigger market and you wouldn't do this anymore by yourself. But that's not the case. So like I said, we're going to talk in a second about how that this trend of just like doing everything reporting by yourself, and in some cases, endangering yourself to do it is affecting journalism as a whole. But let's keep watching.
You know what? It's one
sure
woman
you're
band.
okay, Tori?
We're good, Tim. Ma'am,
sure you're
you
okay?
are so sweet and you are okay. It is all good. You know, oh Lord.
So you
know, it's my last week on the job, and I think this would happen.
So you were.
It's her last week on the job. I don't know if she's moving up to a larger market, but the way she said that on the job, not just at this station, makes me think she's like, dude, I'm done. I am done with reporting. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not standing out by myself anymore in the rain, setting up my live shot. This is not what I signed up for. Let's keep watching.
Specifically to me, Tim.
Were you bumped down low, Tori, or were you hit up high? I couldn't really tell from looking.
Oh, I don't even. Do you know if I was bumped down low or up high, sir?
I just saw you disappear.
I don't even know. I don't even know, Tim. My whole life just flashed before my eyes.
Oh,
but this is live TV and everything's okay. I thought I was in a safe spot, but clearly we might need to move the camera over a bit.
Yeah.
So okay, see, she says we need to move the camera over a bit. So she goes and grabs the camera. So she's all by herself, right? She's setting this up by herself. One of the ways that they do this too is they give you like these little backpacks that help you go live wherever. And that's what we used to use covering protests and marches and stuff, because you could strap them on your back. I used to call them the kidney cancer packs because I just figured eventually the photographers who had to wear those were just going to end up with kidney cancer, because they're basically beaming, cell service like straight into their back, like high level EMF. All right, let's keep watching. And you know what? Honestly, I got to give her props for this. Like, she seems like a very nice person, and she's just trying to do her job. Like, she's just like, I don't want to look bad. I'm just doing my part. I'm part of the team here. I'm not going to be a complainer, but you know what? Since she's not going to do it, that's what I'm here to do. Okay. That's what I'm here to do, because when I work for Tegna, another one of the largest media companies in the country, I used to train multimedia journalists like her. And I was sent around the country to go to different TV stations to teach people how to do this job better. Okay, now on one hand, the benefit of it was that it gave me the opportunity to cover things like the environment, go out on boats in the middle of Puget Sound and watch killer whales all day, because I didn't take a photographer with me and they would have been like, we can't expend those resources. Okay, we can't do that. But because I went by myself, I could do it. There are time and place for something like this. Sending somebody out into the middle of the dark by herself, that's not okay. That is never okay. All right, let's keep going.
Let me do that while I'm thinking of it.
Now, just to set the stage for you once again, Tori's in an area right now, there's been a water main break, so there are emergency vehicles around there. And a lot of times what we have seen in those kind of situations are when emergency vehicles are around, there's a lot of confusion from people about drivers about where to go. So it's possible
people get distracted a little bit.
But we still sent her by herself. I mean, we already know that this is a distracting, confusing environment, but we sent her by herself. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, you didn't even see.
Oh God, that woman was so nice though.
Yeah.
She didn't mean to. It was an accident. I know it was, and I'm okay. Everything's fine. But again, Tim, we'll get back to the report, right? Yeah. We're on Roxalana Hills Drive in Dunbar.
And then she just goes back to the report. I'd say I'm disappointed, but you know what? To be disappointed, you have to expect something better. And I just don't expect anything better anymore. Here's the big picture, okay? This is what I want folks to take away from this, because a lot of people sit back and think that the average journalist is going into editorial meetings and conspiring to brainwash America. But the fact is, especially when it comes to local news, the average journalist is like that reporter. Overworked, underpaid, barely has time to pay attention to what's going on around her, much less read documents that she needs to read or interview the people she needs to interview, or have time to be a critical thinker, to comb through, like I said, skeptically and critically, the propaganda that is coming at her in all different directions, and management that doesn't encourage that. And so to me, there's almost no better example of one of the main reasons that journalism is dying right now than watching a reporter who works for one of the richest, largest media companies in the country literally get hit by a car. This is Gray Television's website. News, broadcast, digital, over-the-top production. Gray Television is a leading media company that owns and operates high-quality stations in 113 television markets that collectively reach 36% of U.S. television households. And this from TV Spy, December 1st, 2021. Gray picks up hometown station in $2.8 billion deal with Meredith, which was another TV company. Okay. And here's what they write: Atlanta based Gray Television has closed its $2.825 billion deal to buy Meredith Corporation's 17 local stations, making it the second largest TV station owner in the country behind Nexstar. So this company has billions of dollars to buy another TV company, to have more influence around the country, to send their reporters out to tell you what's going on by themselves in the dark when they don't know what's going on because they can't pay attention to it because they're doing everything by themselves. And like I was saying, so this is something that when you started out in a small market, which this is, okay, this is a small market. Again, a station owned by Gray Television in Huntington, West Virginia, which is basically a starter market. It's where you go right after you graduate college. And it was very common when I first started in the TV business to work in a small market and do everything by yourself. All right. I actually used to take our one photographer at my first station out to lunch every day, basically to bribe him into shooting my stories for me so I wouldn't have to do it, which didn't serve me well when I got to my next market and they expected me to be able to shoot and I couldn't do it because I had always bought Perry Subway. Perry, I hope you're watching this. Anyway, this is all just to say that it used to be that you would leave your small starter market and then you would go to your next market and your next market and your next market and you would leave the one-man band behind, okay? That's what it used to be called. Now it's multimedia journalist because one-man band is sexist. I'm sure they moved on to another term at this point. And you wouldn't do that anymore. But I did this all the way through my career in Seattle, and I have friends that do this for the network. It's not uncommon now to find people even working at the national level shooting and editing their own video. It's a cost-saving measure for the company because they don't have to send a second person with you, a photographer, to do that job. This all started really after the 2008 recession in larger markets that decided, you know what, we want to increase programming, but we don't want to increase our staff. So how do we do that? We split the photographer and reporter. Now we've got two crews where we used to just have one. Now, I used to be somebody who trained people to do this job better, okay? I worked for Tegna, one of the other largest TV companies in the country. And in some cases, the one-man band thing actually works to help cover topics that otherwise would not get coverage. I was an environmental reporter. I'd go out for a day, a whole day on a whale boat looking for southern resident killer whales. And they never would have let me do that if I had to bring a photographer with me. And it was totally safe. And I was able to do what I was doing. I was able to think about the topic. I was able to cover that topic accurately because I had the time. And like I said, it was safe. I was okay. In this circumstance where you're sending somebody out in the middle of the dark, it's not okay to do that from a safety standpoint, but think about how this affects journalism in other ways, in an intellectually safe way, right? You're doing everything on your own. You have like 3 hours a day to get it done. So if you're covering a complex topic that requires you, say, have time to find different interviews with different perspectives, or you've got to read documents, you don't have time or ability to do that. You're driving the car, you're shooting the video, you're editing the video, you're writing the script. There were many times I go to my boss and I'd hand him a script and he'd say, well, I see what this person says and I see what that person says, but what's the truth? And I would look at him astonished, like, do you know what I do every day? I don't know who's telling the truth. So I just bring this up because everybody's staring at this reporter and saying, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Or, wow, what a great team player. She just got up, knocked down and got up again. And she never complained. And that's what we need to teach our kids about what it means to be strong and resilient in America. And I'm sitting here thinking like, this is nuts. I mean, this is totally nuts. And like, if you have a major news corporation that spends this much money buying up TV stations around the country, but sends its reporters out and they get hit by cars because they're all by themselves in a dark street that the anchor clearly understood was very confusing for people. What kind of investment do you think they're making in journalism? Honestly. Okay, honestly, what kind of investment does that show you that these companies are making in real, critically thinking journalism? I'm waiting. And final thought, I am really glad she's okay. That obviously is the main point here, but because she is okay, let's leave this as a lesson to never let it happen again. Also, I'm sure she's thinking to herself, I really could use a drink. And though I was never hit by a car while working in TV news, I'll say many times I came home and felt like I had been hit by a car. And maybe you feel like that too after watching TV news, which is why you may also need a drink too. And if you do, you should go to AllisonWinePromo.com. Allison with 1LWinePromo.com. You get 50% off my favorite high altitude Malbecs from Argentina and 50% off shipping. They have switched out the bottles from the last 3. So get a whole new 3. We're not in the holidays anymore, obviously. So buy the gift for yourself. They use no flavoring, no filtering, no dyes, and no excess chemicals. But maybe you're sitting thinking to yourself, did I just see that? Did I really just see that? And I need a hot cup of coffee to really believe that that actually happened. Well, it's a good thing that you brought that up, because you can go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, and check out my other sponsor. These are high altitude USDA certified organic Nicaraguan roasts. The CEO of this small family owned company lives in Nicaragua, where they grow, harvest, and roast the beans. I'm also a huge fan of the Katera tea right here. You can check it out if you're a tea drinker. It's really good. It's tea made out of the coffee fruits. Whatever you do, though, have a toast to free speech wherever you are.